Hello everybody, I am Sheffield and welcome back to Let's Play Nox. So just after finishing the Conjurers campaign, and we're going to start the Wizards campaign. Now this is actually my second time to start this, because last time I actually got as far as about probably 2 episodes in, and I found then afterwards that the drivers hadn't changed over from my other headphones to these, and basically it didn't record sound and it didn't record the microphone either, so we ended up with basically lots of footage but no actual sound. Anyway, so yeah, this is my second time actually starting this. So the wizard: poor health, excellent magic, weak strength, slow speed. Wizards are masters of magic. They create magical traps containing spells. They cannot wear armor and can arm themselves only with staves. Wizards commence their quest near Castle Galava. Let's go then. Ah yes, the usual. And we'll go with the beard as usual. Alright.
The work of a great wizard is a sight to behold, a mastery of magical power channeled to the most astounding effect. So, you should know that in all of Nox, Horvath is the name synonymous with the greatest of wizards. And your tongue.
Why'd the sound crap out?
Hard cold facts, lad. You must become a wizard's apprentice before you can gain entry to the Tower of Illusion. The one controlling that is the arch-wizard Horvath, an old friend of mine. I know Horvath is in need of a worthy apprentice, but are you worthy, lad? Follow the beach road, find the home of his new apprentice, and beware of urchins. They can be the most nettlesome of pests at best. I guarantee you don't want to learn their worst, lad.
He is sometimes quite the how should I put it? Sadist. Okay, I've changed the screen resolution, but I'm not quite liking it, so I might actually have to change it back to what it was, so just bear with me for a second and I'll be right back. There we go. Now that's better. Alright. So, last time we finished off the Conjurers campaign, and it was actually quite interesting because the actual boss fight was much different. The actual story, the ending to the game was much different. Missiles of magic, barrage your nearest foes with deadly homing missiles. And, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what way the wizard's story goes and how it's going to end, because it is all completely different, depending on which character you play as. And since I've actually looked to see if I can find a YouTube video that actually has the endings to the game, and I actually found them, so I will be, because I can't record them myself, I will basically at the end of the Conjurers video and the Warriors, I'm going to put basically a sort of annotation, an annotation there, and basically all you gotta do is click on it and it'll bring you straight to the video of basically the ending to that campaign. It's unfortunately the only way I can actually do it. Anyway, this ain't good. This ain't good at all. Horvath to the rescue.
Thieving little creatures. The urchins just moved into our area and have already made absolute pests of themselves. I am Arch-Wizard Horvath. I am looking for my apprentice. I fear he has been lost in a nearby urchin den. If you could find him and bring him back to me, I would be willing to bring you along with us to Galava. Come, I will show you the way to the wretched urchin den outside my apprentice's home.
Very good. I shall follow you then, Horvath. But yes, if you saw my last Conjurer video, I wasn't actually very well. I had a cough and I had a horrible cold and everything.
Here's a spellbook and some other articles you might need.
Excellent.
Unlock the gates. Just follow the road and I expect you will have no trouble finding these detestable interloping urchins. Good luck. I hope to see you again.
Lesser heal. Salves the least of your wounds to restore a moderate portion of health. Useful when targeting friends or charmed beasts too. But, excuse me. I still have it. But, yeah, I'm not as bad as I was. I've been, taking cough medicine and been to the doctor and all this bullshit, and by Jesus has that cough medicine been absolutely disgusting. Like, I don't like licorice as it is, and this medicine is like pure and utter licorice, except like 3 times worse than a licorice all sorts sweet, and it is absolutely revolting, and it just makes you gag every time you even take a mouthful of it. It's horrible. But it was doing the trick, but unfortunately, like, I do have a chest infection, so I actually needed more than just cough medicine to get rid of it. But I'm on the mend, so I apologise in advance for when I do cough. I can't help it, unfortunately. And it's already been a week since I've done that video, so, you know, unfortunately, like, that's already too long. Gotta just... Well, it wouldn't have been if it wasn't for the fact that those videos had actually recorded properly, but because they didn't, it has technically been a week since I've done a video, so... Yeah. Even though I'm maybe not back 100%, I'm still going to motor on. But, this game has been showing some real promise, I have to say. Urchin, cowardly rock-loving denizens of the world beneath. Urchins are best experienced face to face. But, excuse me. There we go. This was unfortunately, as I've said before, one of those games that it's really good, but it just didn't make it when it came to being released. And there has been quite a lot of games like that over the years. There really has been quite a lot of them like that, and they're all good games. It's just when it came to the time of release, there was generally just something else there that kind of completely and utterly towered over it, and just sort of and these games got lost in that big titan of a game's shadow. I mean, around the time this was released, you had Diablo 2 come out, you had Deus Ex coming out, all within around, you know, around about the same time, maybe no more than a year in the difference. And people were still going mad over Diablo and Deus Ex, like, you know, around about that time. I mean, I can't say that I was any different, because I wasn't. I was actually, you know, I was just as much of a Deus Ex and Diablo 2 fan. And I'll be honest, I hadn't even heard of Nox. I didn't even see it on the store shelves at the time, because I don't know why it didn't get into the sort of store shelves like Diablo and that did. It wasn't for a few years after that I actually found a box of Nox, but like I said before, the shop that it was in is one of these very overpriced shops, and this was like 2-3 years after the game was released, maybe not even, maybe longer, and your man was still charging something like €30 for it or something like that. And I said, no, I'm not paying that much for a game that was released about 3 years ago. And so then I didn't actually get to play this until it came available on GOG. Or should I say, until I found GOG and it was available on GOG. But yeah. I was getting somewhere with this whole conversation, but I'm not sure
trying to
what.
rescue me, but I'm already too far gone. The urchins, they weren't acting alone. It was a necromancer.
Ooh. Alright. Lightning. Call down the blazing wrath of heavens upon the heads of those who oppose you. At higher spell powers, the lightning can chain multiple targets. Awesome. Right. Now, I need to kind of think where I was going with this whole conversation. But yeah. I decided to give this a go. Once I saw it on GOG. And I'm really happy that I did, because it is an absolutely awesome game. It is really good. And it's not, you know, I'll continue
My
in a second.
apprentice's robe. Dark fortunes must have befallen him. You have proven the urchins were no match for you. Perhaps you might make a good apprentice. Yes. Follow me to the laboratory. When you are ready, just step into the teleporter, and you will be brought to Gulliver. We have much work ahead of us when we arrive.
Alright, I'll continue with what I was saying in a minute. We'll go through this teleporter first, and go to Gulliver.
I could not have anticipated this development, lad, as events seem to be moving at their own unsettling speed. You have been called upon by Horvath to go to the mysterious wizard tower. He must believe in you, because he is entrusting you to apprentice with him and to do research in the Forgotten Library.
Welcome to the city of Gulliver, realm of the wizards. You will be my new apprentice. Everything has been arranged. You may shop for anything you need, but do not tarry too long. I shall meet you in my office inside the Tower of Illusion. Just take Spire Street and you will find the tower.
Find the tower. Right, so. Anyway, as I was saying, back when this was released, and I've said this before, it was seen as being, you know, people sort of saw it as, oh, this is going to be a Diablo clone, and so on and so forth. So it wasn't very well received. Well, I won't say it wasn't well received, but it didn't sell well.
Huh?
And there's been quite a few.
Well, if you want the latest news, go to Maximilian's. It's the finest inn in the southern lands.
Yeah, okay. And there's been quite a few games over the years that have
Welcome
been
to Maximilian's, the southern lands'
absolutely,
finest inn.
you know, they've been absolutely amazing games, really good, solid games. And they just didn't make it when it came to the sales, and it's such a shame that this was happening. But back then, you didn't have anything like Steam, you didn't have anything like GOG, you didn't have all these services available to you. You literally had to go to the shop, and that was it. And, you know, like, the shop wasn't going to get many copies of something that wasn't well received, generally speaking. And because that's just bad business. But I mean, like, you know, you have games like this. Another one was Clive Barker's Undying. It was really well received by critics, but it just didn't sell. It was just unlucky and didn't sell. And there was actually supposed to be a sequel planned for that, along with actually a multiplayer patch. And it never actually happened because it just sold so poorly. Which is a damn shame, because I said to myself when I finished Clive Barker's Undying, I said a sequel of this would be absolutely awesome. But unfortunately, that's probably never going to happen now, because, like, you know, years later, Clive Barker moved on and made Clive Barker's Jericho, which wasn't anywhere near as good a game as Undying, but, you know, bear with me now for 1 second. Who does I want to talk to? Maximilian.
Actually, business has been somewhat slow of late. 2 weeks ago, thieves broke in and robbed the place. I don't expect I'll see my stolen belongings again, but nothing would please me more than to see those rogues brought to justice. I'll happily reward anyone who turns them in.
Okay, so we got... I've done this because you know, because of the recording incident.
Welcome to Wizard's Keep. How can I help you?
1 second.
Welcome
But yeah,
to the Wizard's
it was
Keep.
another one of
How
those
can I
games
help
that
you?
was good, but it didn't make it because the sales just weren't there. And generally, when it boils down to something like that, it's generally because, you know, there's just other games out there that are just being played and talked about, and
Welcome to the shop of Bright Blade.
you know, people
How
just
can I help you?
go for them as opposed to, you know, actually
Kincaid's
playing
Armor
those games
at
that
your
are not
service. What can I do for you, Sir Wizard?
as well talked about, I suppose you could say. Now let me see. Okay, we'll get one of them now shortly. And I'm not going to the tower yet. I want to sort of explore first. So basically, Undying was a part of this collection alongside Nox. Then you also have games like oh, there's been a few of them now. Probably in the more later years, there was another one that was a little bit more misunderstood, and that was Suda 5-1s, or Suda 51, whichever way you want to call it. I think people generally pronounce it Suda 5-1. It was Suda's Shadows of the Damned in more recent years, and I thought it was quite a decent game. I had a lot of fun playing it. It was available on the Xbox. I'm not sure if it ever was available on the PC or not. I'm not too sure, but I remember playing it on the Xbox anyway, and you know, it was a really fucked up game. That's no exaggeration, by the way. It was about as fucked up as fucked up gets, but it was a really good game. It had this sort of dark sense of humour to it. I knew that was going to happen.
Your failure to...
It had this real dark sense of humour to it that was fun because it was just so over the top. This is hard. The Wizard is very hard to play. Well, that worked better. But again, like, it wasn't a bad game, and I've talked to a couple of people about this who have played Shadows of the Damned, and they'd agree with me. It was, you know, it had this very dark sense of humour to it. It was a very, very dark sense of humour game, but it was awesome. It was a lot of fun at the same time, but like, you know, it was really, really dark. You know, like, there was how should I put it? There was a lot of you know, it was a very adult themed game, to say the least, and I had a couple of mature references to it. Shall we just leave it at that, to say the least? Push. Hurl all nearby objects away from you with vehement thrust. But it did it in such a way that it was humorous. You know, like, younger kids might not, like, you know, the younger audience would probably not understand it. They did it in that kind of way. Hang on a second. If I... Yeah, that'll do it. You know, like, younger audiences wouldn't understand it. So, you know, as an adult, I got it, and it was quite funny, and I found it quite amusing, to say the least. Excuse me. But it was a really, really fun game to play. The actual style of gameplay was fun as well, and like I said, it was just something that didn't sell well. Like Clive Barker's Undying.
I surrender. Please don't hurt me.
I'll go quietly.
Yeah, you'd want to fucking go quietly. It just, you know, it was left for a possible sequel. But unfortunately, it's looking like there's not ever going to be a sequel because of how poor sales were. I think on its opening, on its month of release, I think it sold something like 50,000. That's all, which is extremely low for a AAA title. And come on, you get up here. So.
Oh there! The priest told me of strange sounds coming from here, so I came to investigate. You have single-handedly captured the notorious Morgan Lightfingers. Very impressive. My profound respect is yours, young wizard. Lightfinger's gang has terrorized Gulliver for weeks. I'll take over from here. We will all feel safer with this despicable scoundrel behind bars. And here is your reward, young mage. 500 in gold.
Thank you very much. Now, if you remember, when we played as the warrior, we actually helped that guy. Excuse me. But, yeah, so it kind of just shows
Welcome to the shop of Bright Blade.
that you
How can I help?
can't ever predict whether a game is going to sell well or not. Because the truth is, you just don't know. And it makes life quite challenging for a developer, because to a certain
Kincaid's
extent
Armor, at your service. What can I do for you?
you do
Sir
require luck. You know, you could make a great game, but that doesn't mean it's going to sell. So, you know, being a game developer requires quite, like, you know,
Kincaid's Armor. At your
let's not even get started
What
with
can I
the
do for you,
abuse
Sir
that
Wizard?
developers get from from the gamers themselves. That's a whole different topic for another day. But it's not just that they need a thick skin for. It's the fact that they could put, you know, 3-4 years, maybe more, into this game, and it is absolutely amazing. But that doesn't mean it's going to sell well, because you do require luck to a certain extent. And yeah, I think that Shadows of the Damned, Nox here, and Clive Barker's Undying are three great examples of that, with which they were great games, but they just didn't make it because they were unlucky.
So, you're Horvath's new apprentice. Impressive. Master Horvath's chamber is down the hall to your right, first door past the elevator. I've unlocked the south doors for you. Welcome to the guild.
Why, thank you very much. Okay, can I explore? I don't think so. No, I can't. But yeah, I mean, those are all examples, and this is a pure example of just, you know, games that were just unfortunate and didn't make it.
Hello, apprentice. Could you hit that red button on the wall when I give you the signal? I would really appreciate the help. Just let me get into position first.
Alright.
Okay, now. It worked! I can't believe it worked! Oh, thank you. You must be good luck.
Huh.
Go ahead and hit the button again to reverse the transfer.
This is the mother of all cartoon Dexter's Laboratory stuff, isn't it?
Well, this is certainly a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, I saw this coming.
Uh-oh. Don't tell Horvath about this. I'll try.
That's a real Dexter's Laboratory moment, that. I forgot to go back to Maximilian to get my reward, actually, so I better go to him first, because once I get to the next chapter I can't go back. Next one.
Welcome to Maximilian. So the rogues have been brought to justice. Well done, lad. We shall all sleep better knowing those scoundrels won't be laying their filthy paws on our belongings. And here's your reward, 100 in gold. You're welcome at Maximilian's anytime, young mage.
Thank you very much. No, I didn't quite explore everywhere actually. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. I'll go back now in a second. But yeah, you just never know
Wizards are always welcome here.
when it comes to developing a game. You just really don't. And it's a scary thing because in the back of your mind when you're making a game, you're kind of saying, is this going to make it? Is this going to, are people going to like this? And it's bad enough when you have that thought in your mind. And it's
Welcome to the Griffin's Nest. My inn may not be as fancy.
how should I put it? It kind of gives you this psychological block sometimes, and you're just so busy worrying whether someone's going to like your game that it makes it actually hard to work on it. And then when you sort of look back at all these other games that have been really, really good and still haven't done anyway well, that makes things even scarier. In honesty. Well, he's in jail. This must be their courtyard where they go out to play. But I mean, it's always been the way with games, though. It's always relied on a bit of luck. Now is not quite as bad as it used to be. There's a little bit more. There's a little bit more leeway there now because you have services like Steam, and like people can just sit in their chair in front of their computer desk, and all they gotta do is turn on Steam, and they can just buy a game there and then. They don't have to go down to the local video game store anymore. They can just buy a game there and then, and that's it. And you get people that do this quite a lot, and they buy a game, and they probably don't even play half the games that they buy.
They're smuggled in from the vast orchards of Dunmeer.
They probably don't even play half of them. Or when a Steam sale comes on or a GOG sale comes on, they just buy them because they're cheap, and they don't end up playing half of them. And this is what happens, and they still buy it even though they might not play it. So it's not quite as bad as it used to be, I have to admit, when it comes to...
Welcome to the Tower Gift Shop and Trinkets. Can I help you?
What's the point in having a gift shop if you don't let anybody but mages in here? Christ. But, so it does make it slightly easier to get sales now than it used to be, but not a whole lot. Alright, let's go. Nothing in here? No. Alright, Horvath.
You're here. Good. Your first task as my new apprentice is very important. Something strange is transpiring in Nox. Wildlife incursions in the settled areas is on a steady rise. My attempts to scry out the cause have been fruitless. A mysterious force clouds my view. You may help me change that.
Alright.
There is an underground section of the library where our archives are kept. Before this tower was built, it served as our main repository of tomes and related articles. It contains numerous secret bookcases and a few traps, which were originally designed to keep out uninvited visitors. Most of this forgotten section of the library has not been used in many years. The antiquated records indicate this section contains 2 items which might be crucial to my investigation. The first is the Amulet of Clarity. The second is the Book of Oblivion. If you can retrieve these objects for me, quickly, I hope they will help furnish the answers I seek.
Alrighty then. Right, well we're going to do that, but not in this part, because we are going to leave it here for this one. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Thank you, and have fun.